this is coming on the back of obviously ISOM 1 and all of the things that we did with our company as far as the launch. Big shout out to everybody, of course, all the supporters, all the customers. I got the greatest customers in the world. That will never change. Well, unless we change and we do something stupid. But a lot of the detractors, it's funny, like with everything that we did, it was always something was wrong, like for them, because they were trying to nitpick and find things wrong with it. Like, hey, your price is too much, despite it being our first book. So basically what we paid to have it printed would be what you would pay to have it printed. We don't have any print deals, nothing like that. It wasn't printed in China, so there's obviously a little premium with it being printed in America. It was a big page. It wasn't printed cheap on like these are, with a floppy or something. And, we had $35, and you have folks that would say things like the detractors, well, that's so much. You're ripping your customers off and all this other nonsense. And it's hilarious considering the practices that are now industry standard. They didn't start this month or week or year for that matter. This isn't anything new. It's now an industry standard, and it's been a one for a while. And let's talk about the big two and a lot of not even just all, for the most part, big comics, independent comics as well, do this whole kind of, it skirts the line of being, let's say that it's a questionable business practice. And that's this whole variant situation. A lot of people don't know how that works. But the variant issue, how it works with certain companies, or not certain companies, pretty much all major comic book companies do this, is that there's these things called, some deem it as like incentive kind of variants. So what happens is that they try to make it seem as if, not make it seem, it's more of artificial rarity, but you have to buy into it, okay? It's not straightforward like, hey, this is a limited quantity item, you buy it, here it is. Like what we did with all of our covers, right? It's this amount in the quantity, this is how many we're gonna sell, you can buy it if you want it, don't if you don't. It's not straightforward. It's retailers and distributors being pimped, where they're like, hey, if you buy X amount, a lot of people don't know this, you buy 75 books of the main covers, we give you this special version, which is rare, right? Because basically you have to get 75, and if ever 75 printed, this one's you get this one. So what happens is obviously it's marked up. So if you go to a website or anything, it doesn't matter where it is, where you get it, Midtown, mycomicshop.com, wherever you get it, the comic book shops themselves, that they'll sell it for a lot of money, right? Depending on how rare it is. So the scarcity is just, it's bought, essentially, is what it is. It's like for everyone, and that's a standard practice. Now, these books, again, are selling for way more, way cheaper, let's say way less paper, way less pages for a lot more money. And sometimes the variant is, I mean, not much changes sometimes. Sometimes it's, hey, the colors are different, But it's a variant problem in comics, and I think it is completely, I know it's completely oversaturated the market. I was looking the other day. There's Scarlet Witch book that comes out that already is accounted for 10 different covers right now. I was looking the other day. It was a report that there's 26 Superman covers. There's a new Superman 1 that drops next month. And this Superman cover has right here counted that League of Comic Geeks is showing of 17. I saw a report that had 26 already. That's easily, and definitely because of Superman, that's cycling through the entire alphabet. There'll be a cover Z, who knows. But this is now a standard practice in the industry. Well, they are putting, the interior isn't different. They're putting out for one book, how many pages is it? 32 page count. 32 pages, that's it. And there will be 17. One of the incentive variants is a foil cover that you got to get 100 of them to get it, and it's cover P. And then you got cover Q, which you got to get 200, and you get that. This is the standard practice. And they do that, and they have nerve to say, well, guys like myself or the independent people that they create are charging too much for their books. Well, you have the actual companies, right? So it'd be Marvel, it'd be DC, it'd be Image, it'd be Boom, or any of the major indies, Dark Horse, where they'll be like, hey, get this many, you will get this rare cover. Of course, the retailer will mark it up. This is a standard practice, and we know it's screwed up, but they get away with it. It's okay for them to do that. I don't do that, and I don't see that ever being something that my company will do. I think it's grimy. Ours is fairly simple, right? It's, hey, comic book retailer, what do you want? Okay, we'll give it to you wholesale price. Obviously, if you pay more or if you buy more, the cheaper it is going to be per deal. But it's no, hey, you want this special cover of ISOM? Well, you have to buy 200 of them bitches. And we'll give you this one. And then you can sell the special foil version of ISOM for $200 to make a little profit. They do that. It's a standard practice. And they get to get it's not considered, well, some people do consider it predatory. But look at how much scrutiny alternatives get compared to what these guys do. Never mind the not paying of their artists, people getting screwed over, all that sort of stuff that the big dogs get to do. And they do it all the time. But God forbid, once we get out there and I just say, hey, I'm independent, it's a $35, almost 100-page book. He's grifting. He's scamming, yada, yada, yada. What is it that you call this? What do you call it? I'm not against variance, right? The idea, the options are what they are. I'm not against that. But holy shit. There's other creative ways to do it, man. 17 off the rip. And even some of the characters that, they'll have a decent number one, but they're not going to, like Scarlet Witch, got 10 already. And usually they keep those going. You'll hear about another printed one. 3 months after the fact is on the way. It's insane. It's cool to have like a few options, handful of options, right? It's a first appearance. It's a number one. So you got 3, 4, 5, maybe like different options, right? And you can have limited edition items. You can help the aftermarket catch. But to have 17 off rip, some again as much as like some of these are like this one right here. It's a foil variant, and all it is, it's just the Superman. It's just simple. So it's the Superman logo on it, bro. That's it. Like, I'm not against variants. I'm not against simplicity by any means, right? I'm not against that. I want to be very clear. But 17 damn variants. Some of them you tie them to people, the incentive variants of 200, getting 200 pops. Like, come on, bro. And that's the thing. And this is why sales, because there's the two middlemen with the distributor and the retailer, you never actually know how many of these books sell. With us, it's different, right? And I think it'll remain that way because we don't go too crazy. With us, it's different. Because with us, it's like, well, they'll have, they're going to sell out of those, right? And I don't have any incentive tied to like, hey, you get 200 of them, we give you a special little couple. We don't do any of that. It's just, hey, here's the book. Here it is. It sells out, right? But how it's handled for basically the entire industry is they sell to the distributor sells to retailer, and then the customer buys it. So what if someone got those 200 books and only 10 of them sold, and 10 of them in the special variant sold, they still count that as a sale. So when Comic-Con does their sales for the end, if they're using Diamond, right, then they still consider that a sale. It's sold to shops. They still consider that a sale, right? So in some cases, it's inflated. Let's just say that in terms of sales, some of those will never be bought. They will remain in mint condition, though never being bought, rotting on the shelf at a comic book shop, or if they're in a warehouse or something. If they have, like, let's say online distributor or online or retailer, excuse me, it's just sitting there in the bin collecting dust because nobody wants that damn thing. That's all I'm saying, man. It's insane. It's insane, but those practices are industry standard among a lot of other grimy stuff that these guys are doing. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.